Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Bakhair agale, ni hao, junashume, washwale, hi, gonzaimus, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, halo shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, puna, mucho, gracias, suaviaf, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuning to PTV World and watching World this morning. Alongside the very fabulous, the very energetic, the very good looking, Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you today?
Thank you for using all those words for me. I'm absolutely great. What about you?
Well, I feel,
you being the energy quotient of the show, as I always say.
Thank you very much for saying that. It's not that I don't know this, but it's all right. But thank you very much. Yeah, but for everybody who's out there, I'm great, and we hope that everybody whom we are reaching out to in 46 different countries, you're doing great too as well. Your kids are doing great. And for all of those kids who are actually getting married are doing great. So, you know, Nana, Nani, Dada, Dadi, Chacha, Chachi, Papa, Popo, everybody's doing great. This is what we hope and this is what we pray for, ladies and gentlemen. And as we all know, that over here on this platform, we actually love to share inspirational stories, people who can actually inspire, people who have done some wonderful things with their life and now are progressing to make sure that they bring about a difference within the community.
But before we move on to who we are actually, sharing with you today, Shahzad, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, of course, every other day I seek inspiration or I find inspiration in every little thing as well. So can you recall one person or one thing that inspires you the most?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so the one thing which actually inspired me the most was actually a person who didn't had any legs and was a regular at the gym. And at that time, I wasn't going to the gym. I was going through a rough patch where I was constantly, thinking about things as in how life might unfold for me. You know, those insecurities which people get indulged into. I think that I took a lot of inspiration from that particular gentleman, and it's because of the fact that he, irrespective of the fact whether he's able to do things or not in the gym, but he's trying his level best. And I think that this is what is in our capacity to try.
Yeah.
The rest actually depends on Allah Almighty, whether we fulfill it, whether we succeed in it or not. But for us, what we need to do is just try.
No, Shahzad, and that is the key actually, because of course when you try, you're going to put your all to it, and definitely it's going to be rewarding.
Yeah.
And you know, when we're talking about inspiration, every other day I feel like, since I'm going through my midlife crisis, just kidding, you know, every other day I seek inspiration in people. I mean, there are a lot of people around me, Shahzad, who pull off things greatly. I mean, starting from, let's say, 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning till even late night. I mean, mothers at home, everyone, they're doing so many things just to strike the right balance in their lives. I mean, of course, when you are sent in this world, of course, I mean, there are so many purposes that you came with. And just to sit at home and just enjoy the luxuries of life, I don't think you're doing justice to it. So for the people who actually
That's
strive...
good life too as well, yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, the people who actually strive for everything, I'm not saying they go through hard things, strive, Shahzad, to achieve even better, because, I mean, there's no limit, right? So they inspire me every day.
Exactly, that's great. So are you actually going to mention that one person who has actually inspired you a lot?
There's so many. There's not just one. I mean,
just one.
So
the first one who actually inspired you.
I mean,
And how and why?
I can't really recall the first one, but that one person who inspires me sort of daily is, of course, my dad.
Wow.
Of how he manages things and how he manages the family and everything, you know, how he's brought us up, the education that he's imparted to us and everything. So, yeah.
Exactly, that's great. And since you mentioned about all of this, so I think, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take advantage of this opportunity, and I'm actually going to speak about people thinking about insecurities usually most of the time. And it's very natural, it's very common, it's a normal human behavior, but overthinking is obviously not normal.
Yeah.
But there's this one thing which somebody told me, and I read it somewhere as well, since I have now started to get back into my books as well, you know, so I just kind of, so I was going through it, and there was this one thing which was very fabulous, just like you actually mentioned, you know, midlife crisis. And I've seen a lot of people, as soon as they pass 35 or 30, you know, they're like, oh, this is the midlife crisis and whatnot.
I think it starts at 23.
Whatever you think is actually what happens to you. So for all of those people thinking that, you know, we might not have money to have food, we might not have a job, we might not be doing this in next year, I need to do something else. So for all of those people who actually think this way, I think kind of attract that energy towards themselves.
Agreed.
And for ladies and gentlemen, so what I read was very important, and it said that for people who think whatever they want to do in life or whatever insecurities they have, they will end up with that. So it is rather, I think, recommended to think about a happy life, to think about that, you know, oh, so far Allah has been so kind. Obviously, Allah is going to be kind to you in coming years as well. So what makes you think that, oh, yaar, ye nahi ho payega, ya ye nahi hoga, ya ye nahi hoga? So it's Allah. Have trust, have faith, and just go for it.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, just don't think about it. So people, उर्दू में ही बताता हूँ, जो लोग ये सोचते हैं कि ये ज़िंदगी में गड़बड़ हो जाएगी, उनकी ज़िंदगियों में खुदा न खास्ता गड़बड़ हो जाती है. जो ये सोचते ही नहीं है, वो अच्छी ज़िंदगी जी लेते हैं. तो आप मत सोचें ऐसे.
I think, Shazad, that is the note I wanted to start my day with. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
that's
saying
great.
that, because of course I do believe in all those things. But again, people do need reiteration every now and then as
Yeah,
well, right?
exactly.
Thank you so much for saying that. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we have someone who did inspire us before we were speaking to her before the show as well, and we were reading about her as well. She has so many things on her plate. She is managing just, I mean, exactly perfectly, I think.
Yeah, it's long. You know, the list is so long.
I think we'll let her do the.
Yeah, we will let her do that as well. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the point which we wanted to reiterate, that there are a lot of people you can take inspiration from, and this is the platform on PT World this morning. We want to share these talented, amazing beings because they've done so much in such little time that now they're actually focusing on the communities and how people can get better, or how societies can get better as well. So ladies and gentlemen, she's actually somebody who's been all over the world. You know, she's done several courses from different universities. She's actually worked for some very amazing news channels as well. You know, she's been an intern in Qatar, and so then there's a long list. She's into boxing, she's a writer. There's a lot of things we really need to ask her. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you clap wherever you are. If you're listening to all of what I'm saying, she's none other than Miss Aska Zia. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. So how do you want it to do? See, because you're a writer yourself, do you want to interview us, or do you want us to interview you?
We can interview each other.
Yeah, that's great.
That's going to work out. So my first question is, how are you liking Islamabad after Karachi? Because I'll tell you what, even Shazad, I think he agrees with it. People who come back from Karachi, they love Karachi and Lahore. I mean, even with my friends and everything. How do you like it?
Well, Karachi and Islamabad are very, very different places. I would say that there's a lot more mental peace in Islamabad.
Of course.
You know, there's hiking, there's a lot of greenery around. Karachi is a lot more people place. So it's
So it's just people. You know, there are no trees, people everywhere. You go, PPP, people, PPP, people. After every kilometer, you'll see 300 people. You know, that's how it is. And there's no doubt in it. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, all right. So here's the thing. You train as a boxer. Well, you're not a professional boxer yet. I like to say that yet, ladies and gentlemen. What actually brought you to train for it? Because you already had a job, you were already writing, which is actually a totally different arena, sort of. So how was this decision?
Kisko marna tha? Why did you start to train? Yeah.
I began boxing in 2016. And for me, it was on and off. It was a way to improve my mental health. And improve my emotional state of being. And of course, writing was a way of reaching out to the world through words. But boxing was a very physical way of communicating, say, frustrations I had or anxieties that couldn't be expressed in any other way. So it was a very healthy way of channeling emotions.
And Aska, you know, I don't know if you will agree with me or not, but a lot of people every now and then, especially in teenagers, there's this growing, I don't want to say trend, but there is definitely this growing anxiety and depression for so many different reasons. Of course, we live in a world which is just very frightening, to be honest, for kids out there. So there needs to be a way out where you need
I want a Birkins bag for myself as well.
I do too.
If I can get it.
But you know, where you need to channel your energies. So this is almost every other month. We do have, you know, athletes from different fields who come on our show and sort of speak to us about how they were angry either, or how they had, you know, family issues and whatnot they couldn't cope with. And then they resorted to sports, and it's working out for them. I mean, it's, you know, sort of keeping them away from drugs as well, which is a great thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I want you to talk about all the advantages that boxing brings to you for all the people out there. For all the people out there, because a lot of young girls are actually seeking inspiration from you right now.
You know, to be very honest, I had clinical depression for many years.
Okay.
And anxiety as well, and still as well. For me, boxing was a way out. It was really a very sweet release, if one might put it that way, of coming to terms with what made me human, what made me weak or vulnerable. And these are very, I think, human ways of approaching, or an inclusive way of approaching the issue at hand. Often, you know, people would say, let's not talk about that, it's difficult. But I really do believe that to be healthy, to be happy, we have to acknowledge these darknesses we go through, the despair we go through.
Which is only natural.
Absolutely, absolutely, only natural. And that the only way out is really through. And boxing was really that one way of becoming a better person. And I don't think I would be here today I think I look back at and I was just thinking this morning, remembering the dark periods, and then I never thought one day I would be here talking about it, and perhaps helping somebody else and getting them through as well.
Wow.
Well, I really have to say, first of all, you're really brave for sort of confronting your depression and, telling us and sharing with us that you did go through it, because, Aska, of course, as you did, hundreds of thousands of other girls and boys did as well. And unfortunately, probably, they never have the right person to talk to or the platform to, speak about it. But you, I don't know if at that moment you did, but you did resort to something that helped you. So thank you so much for sharing that. Which actually brings me to my next question. You also write, and a person who has actually, who's really sort of connected to their sentiments, is really deep, has gone through things, has seen the dark times, is actually a really great writer. I do believe in that. You have a blog and you also write for newspapers. Tell us all about it.
Sure. So I've written for newspapers in my previous capacity, but in my blog, I write about ways to have a meaningful life. And
go on.
Right. And I have talked about depression and darkness and just kind of the anxieties, the stresses that life throws at you. And every once in a while, somebody will reach out and say, hey, thanks for talking about that. I was going through it as well.
Wow.
So for me, it really is a way of helping somebody else as well, and trying to put into words in as eloquent a way possible about what we're going through. And hey, there's a friend out there. Somebody else is going through as well.
Exactly.
I'm here for you. So for me, writing was a way out and really channeling emotions in a very healthy
that's
way.
beautiful.
And it's so good to listen to that. It's very heartwarming. And just very recently, we've actually done a few shows regarding children's rights as well. And so when we were speaking about it, there were a lot of things which we got to know, and that was that at a very early age, children are actually going through depression and anxiety and whatnot as well. But ladies and gentlemen, this is something which we will be asking, that how while she was growing up, all of this happened to her, that she actually got into clinical depression, and how did she actually fought that battle to come out of it. I think this is something which we need to ask, but after a short break.
Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Well This Morning with Shazad Khan and Shiza Hashmi, where today we are sharing a very inspirational morning with you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, every other day you come across people, you come across incidents or even things that do inspire you and help you go through what you are going through.
Exactly.
Like this very,
Dicey at times. Yeah, but it's all right, since he's ill, so I think we are actually going to give
I
her
mean,
that
cut me
space.
some slack. But
Yeah.
all right, so I was saying, when we were talking about how Aska went through something and that everyone who would read her work would actually sort of relate to it and then reach out to her as well. I think she was doing an amazing job because, of course, a lot of people out there, Shazad, this happens to you and me as well. I mean, we even know friends, we don't know what they're going through. They don't know what we are going through. So if you can be a beacon of light, a beacon of hope and help to someone, I think you really should be.
Exactly. And then since we are actually kind of mentioning about clinical depression and anxiety, so I think that for all of those people who still do not understand, I think that it is very important for all of us to let them know that it's a disease. Okay, the first thing is that it's a disease. The second thing is that it's curable, 100%. But then at the same time, I've seen that there have been situations where people are actually suffering from depression, and then their peers, their friends, their family members, they say, oh, तुम तो सिर्फ ड्रामे कर रहे हो, oh, तुम्हें तो कुछ पता ही नहीं है, oh, तुम यार इस तरह करके तो देखो. So this is one thing which I want everybody to understand, that even if they're willing to do something to change the very feeling they're witnessing or they're experiencing, it's not in their control. This is one thing which I want everybody to understand, because we kind of label people who come to us and they tell us that, I have depression, and we like, oh, it's just a fashion statement, whatnot. They cannot get over it, and I think that this is something which people need to know. You have to go through it. This is what Aska said as well, which is why I'm actually going to ask her, what were the reasons that you actually went through all of this as well? How, while you were growing up, what was that thing which disturbed you the most?
Only if you're comfortable sharing.
Of course. I was very unhappy growing up.
Okay.
My childhood was very unhappy for a lot of reasons, but I think the one way that it began was bullying in school.
Oh, all right.
And it was incessant bullying. And I often, as children, what happens is you blame yourselves for what happens to you, and there is no healthy way to approach it, or maybe even seek help from adults. And I think that's when kind of it began. And I would write in my journal, my books, and to just kind of have...
Like you used to have that dear diary today.
Exactly, exactly. So that was my way of finding a friend, right? And the only friend I had, and it's very sad to say this, is I had me. But growing up, I think what really helped me in the past few years has been having a healthy support of friends, and also professional help. Right, therapists or medication even to an extent. Resources which say, I validate how you're feeling. What you're feeling is okay. A lot of people go through it. I understand your pain. Let's find a way out. And I really look back and I think about the people around me, and I wish that they had the help that I did.
But Aska, that's great that you're talking about it. And since you're talking about help, it's really stigmatized. If we did in 2019, to be honest. I really didn't want to use this example, but one of my friends who's married, for so many reasons, new bride actually does go through a lot of stress, right? So she's been going to even psychologists or psychiatrists, whoever is, relevant for that. She's been taking medications as well. A lot of her family members are helping too, but she can't seem to get out of it. But it's been stigmatized. So whoever she goes to and she's like, okay, yeah, I do see a therapist, they're like, tum psychiatrist ke paas tum theek ho, tum pagal, things like that. And it's really not funny anymore because, ladies and gentlemen, as much as, it is 2019, it is a real issue. We really have to look at it like that, right?
Absolutely. I was blamed for what I was going through, or I was, the question, get out of it, or just, come out of it yourself.
And how convenient it is for people to say, are you feeling sad? Don't be sad.
Exactly,
okay.
Because that invalidates how it works. That's not how the brain works. You break a leg, you go to the doctor. When you have an illness in your brain, shouldn't you seek appropriate medical help?
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the first ways we really need to think of this issue, which I know so many people are going through, so many Pakistanis are going through in a very different, distinct manner.
Yeah, exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that it's not just the person whom we really need to blame. I think that it's the economics of the country too as well, where it kind of plunges a lot of people into depression and anxiety. When you do not have a job, when you cannot bring back food for kids, when you cannot really pay for your medical expenditures. I think that it's a lot of stress for a lot of people out there. I hope that everybody's in a better place starting from today onwards. This is something which we've always prayed for as well. But very quickly before we wrap up this segment, so you're actually working for Alight as well, and you're working for kids who are actually out of school. That's great. But I want to link it with, when was the time when you realized, okay, my depression's over, I can be happy now, I can feel every emotion. And do you think that you working for children who were out of school actually helped a lot as well?
I would say that, look, happiness comes and goes, sadness comes and goes. We can't be perpetually happy. I've always been interested in the humanitarian sector, and for me that pushed me to work for Alight Pakistan, formerly American Refugee Committee. The goal is to enroll 1 million out-of-school children, which is it's absolutely fantastic phenomenon. Pakistan is currently has the second highest population of out-of-school children.
22.8 million.
22.8 million, exactly, which are out of reach in the dark ages, as somebody put it once very well. So I think for me that was, I am getting better. Let me help somebody else. Put them in schools, put them under school roofs. So yeah, that motivated me.
It's brilliant.
And it's great, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you very much, Aska, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you. Thank you very much for speaking about your journey, your career as well. And so how long that you've actually moved to Islamabad?
Since July.
Since July. So she's relatively new. I think that we can be your friends too as well. There are a lot of places in Islamabad we can go to, but for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, friends are a blessing. And there was this one more thing which I actually wanted to say. I think I have lost track of it as well. But other than that, sorry. So it was that, for all those people who are out there who might have mental illnesses or are going from suffering from depression and anxiety, Aska said the beautiful, most beautiful part of this conversation, that it is never too late to seek for professional help. There are people who are actually who've studied for 10 or more than 15 or practiced for 10 or 15 years so that they can make sure that our brains are working properly. And it's just like any other machine. You know, for example, our dishwashers at our place, if we do not give them water, it's very hard for them to wash the crockery or whatever cutlery items are in there as well. So I think it is very important for all of us to maintain a balance. Think about our own selves, you know, think about our organs, body, brain, everything, whether it's in great working shape or not.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, when we were in conversation with Aska Shahzad, I realized that we're actually, as we are inspiring people, yes, we're also sort of celebrating people who have a certain professional life, but they have the energies actually to keep up their passion, you know, with whatever they want to do as well.
Exactly.
Like Aska, I mean, she does have a totally different professional life as well, but she's writing, she's boxing. In the next segment, ladies and gentlemen, if you stay tuned, this is what you'll find out with some other amazing person, and it's a hint, he belongs to our amazing team as well.
Exactly, and we've been giving him shout outs and whatnot because whatever he does, he does, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like as if he's
Stunning.
a magician,
Yes.
you know. And for all of those people who actually want to renovate their places, their rooms, or decorate them with all of that stuff which is already in their room, I think that it is this segment is going to be for all of you people. This is Do It Yourself, but after this short break. Go ahead, let's do this.
Stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. And as we promised in the first segment, right now, if any one of you is looking to renovate their rooms or even their houses, like Shahzad said, or even just like bring a minor change to your kitchen walls or even your living room, this is the segment that you should be watching right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be definitely talking about, you know, recycling and upcycling things. I mean, the things that you already have at your home but don't know what to do with them.
Exactly, that's great. And for all of those ladies who are out there, I think that it's going to be wonderful for you. So you might not have to give away all those things to the maids who actually work at your place, and you can make your husband happy by what did you say? Upcycling them.
Yes.
Yeah, by upcycling them or recycling them as well. This gentleman has always been a great inspiration for all of us because of the fact that he's a very truthful human being, and he always gets into trouble because of that. Yeah, but it's all right. He's a great mentor. He takes things right up head as well, up front, and I think that he did a wonderful job growing up because he kind of had this talent in him. He started making his own videos. He's got a YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, and he has been the producer of our morning show for the last 6 years. He's none other than Mr. Waqas Bangash. Hello, Pira Sange Khairam Barobar.
Alhamdulillah, bilkul theek thaak. How are you, Shahzad?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. And I never knew that you can look this good.
Yeah.
Because generally, whenever he'll come to the office, he'll wear shalwar kameez, base coat.
It's
So
a
today he
morning
decided,
face.
okay, I have to be on the show, let's wear some dress pants. So you look great.
Actually, I have to make a confession as
Sure, go
well
ahead.
that it's really hard to sit on this side of the camera. It's really easy behind the camera because you don't have to worry about how you look,
Yeah.
what you say.
Yeah.
So,
But you look great and you're doing a great job as well. But ladies and gentlemen, before we actually ask Waqas questions, I think that what we really need to do is we
Share a
will
video.
actually share a
Yeah.
video from his YouTube channel.
Let's do it.
This is DIY. Your
Wab's
channel's name is
DIY.
Vabs DIY.
Wabs. Waqas
Waqas
Bangash.
Ahmed Bangash. Apostrophe S.
WAB apostrophe S because it's his DIY. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look. So what is this? Is it a mirror? Oh, that looks cool. That was a superb video, ladies and gentlemen. So if you've had a birthday party at your place and you had a lot of disposable spoons, this is where you're going to use them.
Exactly, and here's the thing. I mean, when you're looking at plastic waste, Shahzad,
Yeah.
and lately we are really reiterating upon the fact that please avoid plastic. So you can use them and decorate your walls as well. So, Waqas, to begin with, of course, we will talk about your work. But today on our show, you've been watching actually, we're celebrating people who do have a certain professional life, but they did not, let their passion die, and that is what you're doing. I mean, you do have a creative mind. So, ever since you were young, you've been doing this.
Yes, actually the thing is that most of the time it happens with all of us.
Okay.
Your family wants you to do something else. Academically you want to do something else.
Yeah.
You end up doing something else. So I wanted I wanted something to express myself. And finally it took me 30 years, but I got a YouTube channel now.
Wow.
All right.
Now I can tell the world that this is what I can do,
yeah.
apart from what I do.
So here's the thing, Waqas, although I know you have been getting a great response on your YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been convincing him to come on Instagram because everyone out there who's watching right now, Instagram is so convenient, and your videos, I know for a fact, they're so relatable sort of. Everyone needs those tips. So right now, I want you to give out a tip for all the ladies or even gents watching right now for something that may be present at their houses and they don't know how to reuse it.
Actually, you can, I said that earlier when I appeared on your show, that you just have to think about the stuff that is lying at your home. You can create anything according to your imagination, according to your aptitude, from anything. For instance, I'll share a small experience.
Do it.
And while he's
I bought a new dining table.
Okay.
And my wife asked me to make something to put on top of it, some decoration. And I said that, okay, I'll think about something. And she asked me to get some grocery from the market. On my way, when I was going to the market, I came across a log which was lying on the side of the road. I had some artificial plants at my home. So I looked at it and I thought that, yes, something can be created out of this.
All right.
On my way back, I took it with me
So
to my home.
did you buy it or did you pick it up from the
I
roadside?
picked it up
I
from the
promise
roadside.
I
will.
Yes,
That's
that's
it.
it.
Good.
And when I went back, I looked at it. The thought of having something green on my dining table. One, it's healthy.
Yeah, of course.
Second, it looks good.
Yeah.
So I came on the conclusion that I should arrange some plants, living and artificial, combination of both, on the log.
Yeah.
So I do have a video. If Usman
Yeah.
can play it, it
course.
will
All right,
be
Usman,
really
come
easy
on.
for people to
This is the
understand.
time when you actually need to be very efficient. Go ahead, please play the video.
The one that
and
we're
then when you
talking
guys
They're
will come
basically,
back.
sorry
Yeah,
to cut you,
go
they're
ahead.
basically succulents,
Okay,
artificial and living
real
as well.
ones, yeah.
So the video will make you guys understand what you
and
can
the
do.
video's on your screen too as well, ladies and gentlemen. Please check that out too. Well, and while the video is going on, just very quickly, I wanted to ask for all of those people who are very kind of fanatic about having a good interiors at their homes. So quite a lot of people, they can manage to buy some branded stuff. But what colors do we actually need to use within the house?
What I believe is that your interior should reflect your personality, what you feel like. For instance, some people think that golden is out of the league. They don't like it.
Okay.
But if you ask me, little glitzy, it like you can relate. Your wife, the females at your place, they can relate to that as well, and it gives life and light reflection to your interiors. So I
Absolutely.
love golden. Most of people have rejected that idea, but you can mix and match with the metal colors and the golds and the silvers, and it comes out very decent. I don't think if Usman can share those pictures where I have a golden mirror.
Usman, can you
We
please share the
will.
pictures?
I think we will be doing that throughout the show as well.
So sorry,
So the
answering your
pictures are on
question-
screen. Please go
Okay.
ahead, take a look. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Answering your question that what colors should you select, I think your interiors and the colors should reflect your personality.
Okay.
All right. But if I were to add a color to my living room, of course, goldens and silver, neutrals, yes, of
No,
course,
no,
there's
orange, okay.
always a yes. But if I were to add a color, what should I go for?
Are you talking about the walls or?
Maybe a wall, maybe a curtain, maybe I don't know, painting or something.
There is a small fight at our house with my wife. It's always there that she wants colorful bed sheets,
Okay.
bedspreads, and I always go for neutrals and
planes.
the reason behind is that if you have a white wall and white canvas to fill in,
Right.
for instance, you have a white sofa, white headboard, tufted headboard, then you can always go for colorful bed sheets.
Yeah.
But if you are already, your walls are embellished with so many different art pieces,
Right.
then you should go for neutral tones, and white is the
I don't
answer
know.
to all the.
I don't know. I think I'm against white. It makes me because
Because you have kids at your place.
The very initial phase of my life where I was actually struggling to be an actor or to be an anchor. I think that was the time when I used to live in a lot of guest houses, very cheap ones at times, and they only had white bed
White?
sheets, and I
Even
didn't
Fauji
love them
guest
at all.
houses.
They were very tacky. But it's great to be in conversation with you and you giving tips. I think that this is something which we need to do regularly. So ladies and gentlemen, here's the surprise. So we're actually going to join you guys very soon on a physical set, and VAB
yes.
is actually going to do a 10 or 15-minute session where every day we're going to speak about such stuff as well. Can you do something where, for example, if we really need to make some interesting pieces of cutlery or crockery, can we do that too?
Exactly, yes, you can. Most of the time, it's that some beautiful or expensive dinner sets and tea sets lie at
It
your
only
place.
come out when you have guests over here.
And sometimes when you're doing the dishes,
Yeah.
you just mishandle them and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
So what you have to do with those pieces is, if Usman can show the picture, what I did with the leftover plates. I bought some as well.
Yeah, here's
as
the picture. Here's the picture. Yeah.
You can see on the screens. So few of the plates and trays that were left over with no second plate to partner them. So I did this wall art with it. And the
Absolutely love
background
it.
for that is, it's a very easy DIY. It took me 1 hour.
Yeah.
Did you paint it yourself?
Yes,
Oh,
and I
right.
did it with food colors, expired food
Oh.
colors. They were lying in my place. We wanted to do something with it, but it never happened.
And it's a great
And so-
picture. Yeah, because you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you look closely at this picture, you know, it's only the plates which were broken, because at Vikas's place you cannot actually see or find a broken glass, and there's a reason. Show the picture again. Because they use steel glasses at home. Okay, go ahead, right over there.
I love steel glasses, to be
My
honest.
mother
I mean, they're
got
really-
them. My mother got them when she got married. I think we
Actually,
still
I have
one
a
or two.
reason for that as well. I have
Yeah?
a 2-year-old daughter,
Yeah. Okay.
and she loves this dispenser. Whenever, like, she's
Oh, it's
off
a
her
thing.
sight,
Yep.
Yeah.
she just rushes to the dispenser, and if it's a glass,
It's gone.
you don't. It's gone.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gone.
I understand.
So there is the reason why we put a steel glass on the
So
dispenser.
everybody's got them, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed. And I think that these glasses are the ones which we need, because, you know, while we were speaking about, you know, crockery and doing something to that, so whenever guests are over at my place, you know, so mother would actually take out most fancy dinner set, whatnot.
Yeah, which we're not
even
supposed to
then,
touch.
even then, I'm actually going to get a plate from the normal kitchen as well, and you know, so that's how it is. But
And you know,
hey,
whenever you drink lassi, and especially very cold beverage in that,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
feel of it in summer especially is very amazing, because glass never gets that cold.
Exactly, and should I tell you something? It's sort of a trend in our house. Whenever, I don't know, whenever, like you mentioned, the summer season, my mom demands it, like from the village. It's this big, ladies and
Huge,
gentlemen. It's a jug sort
It's a
of, but
lassi
it's so
glass.
big. It's like 5 glasses of lassi can fit into it.
Satisfying
Yeah.
that you keep on drinking and it never
yeah.
finishes.
But,
Really
but
love
very
it.
quickly towards the end, and before we wrap up, so we have made this promise, ladies and gentlemen. The VAB is actually going to be a segment in our future shows as well,
Inshallah.
because we're moving on to a physical set finally. Alhamdulillah, that's a good news.
After how many years?
After 6 years.
6 or 7
Wow.
years, 6 years.
So very quickly, this is one of the most common phenomena in every household, that, you know, husbands really get angry when their wives are throwing away clothes or giving them to maids. So do you have any DIY kind of stuff to do around clothes?
You
use
can
them
do,
for
yes,
something, yeah.
you can do amazing stuff with the winter clothes.
Okay.
For the summers and the t-shirts, it's just the best pocha, I guess, you can make out of it. A
Always.
mop. But you still can weave some amazing rugs,
Yeah.
and especially mats, floor mats,
Wow.
out of winter clothes, because they're thick.
Thick, yeah.
So you can do that with it. And the best thing with clothes is that you should donate it to
Yeah.
someone.
Yes, that is
That's
what I
what
was-
my wife does. That she gives her old clothes to the maid or her daughter, or so it's a better use for that.
Exactly.
No, I agree with that. I don't know why you
Yeah.
were
Not
saying
everything
men
is supposed to upcycle, ladies and gentlemen. Share some a little.
No, that's what
Yeah.
I was saying. I don't know why you said husbands sometimes get angry with that, because I feel like if there's something useful in the perfect condition, someone out there really needs it, they might as well use it, right?
And actually, why at our home it's not like that, because what I do is
Yeah.
we don't go for branded clothes.
All right.
I
That was my
buy-
next question. Oh my God. Go on.
I buy her replicas, and if you are going for a branded suit and it's going to cost you 3,000 to 4,000, you can buy 2 to 3 dresses, replicas with
Exactly.
that.
Right.
Because it's our culture, you have to wear it once or twice, because
Yeah, maximum
the,
twice, huh?
the thing is that women remember what
Exactly.
other women wear.
Women wear, yeah.
No,
So
but, yeah, but Vikas, yes, of course, I was going to talk about clothes, but this is not it, because there was a time in your life when you were actually designing clothes as well, and
There
you
was.
actually still do it for your family members and people that you know, which is amazing. Are you going to carry on with that too?
It is there, but we started a clothing brand with the name of Pleats and Panels. Then I got busy. I wasn't appreciated at the family.
Oh.
People were saying stuff, so I let go of that for the moment.
the
But
time being.
now I'm at this stage that I don't care about what people say.
Yeah,
That's the
thank
best
God.
stage ever.
Thank God,
Exactly.
because this
exactly.
is something which I was about to ask you, that, for doing this show for last 6 years, and now you're at a point where you're like, okay, whatever person wants to say whatever can say whatever. So, there are 3 whatevers now. I think the 4th one is going to come from Vikas, because whatever.
Whatever.
All right.
So maybe in future, because I am appreciated at the family now, because most of the girls and the women, whenever they're getting married, they come to me, Bhai, Vakas, design something for us. It'll be very convenient and easy to come to you than rather than
Right.
going to a
Somebody else,
designer. So it is there maybe in the future.
Exactly,
Inshallah,
that's
of
great, and we
course.
definitely wish you best of luck for your future endeavors. But there's
Thank you
just
so much.
one grievance which we received through mail, and that's from Usman Javed, and he says that that I'm almost in each and every job you do, and you haven't mentioned my name. So yeah, here you go, Usman. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Actually, no, we did. We did. In every video, I uttered his name, that Usman video play karo, Usman video play karo.
So Usman,
Of course, because it's a
Usman is
teamwork.
there.
Usman, to tum wo karo, theek hai? Okay, zyada nahi.
nahi,
But he's a great guy too, ladies and gentlemen, and he actually kind of follows my fashion sense. He's got a longer mustache. He wears waistcoats now. So I am.
He's a
I'm going-
vital part and integral part
He
of
is,
our team.
and believe me, that he's one of those people from whom I've actually learned discipline. He's always on time, yeah, always.
Yeah, absolutely. And since we're
Before
talking-
time, I would say. Before time.
And since this is a shout out to all our team members, well, there's Hasnan as well. You're doing an amazing job.
There's a
But towards
stand
the
for our
end, Vikas,
cameraman, team in the MCR,
Engineers,
everybody,
everyone.
engineers,
Yeah.
our bosses, our news anchors who actually wait for minutes that we actually
And
finish
stop
the
it
show.
right there, Shahzad. One thing that I would love to say is that Shahzad and Shiza has been doing this job phenomenally.
Thank
They're,
you.
what should I say,
Oh
they're
We
a
paid him.
quintessential
my
example, a quintessential example of morning show hosts. They're very obedient because, as I mentioned earlier in the start of the show, that it's really hard to be sitting on this side of the camera. Behind the camera, we are yelling in the air, in the AFP says that, Shahzad, you have said that wrong. Sit straight,
Yeah.
do this, no, don't laugh, smile, don't smile.
Yeah.
And they're always obedient.
Thank you
So thank you to
Thank
you
you very
guys
much.
that
Thank
you've
you.
been very obedient. You've done whatever we say. They're very amazing human beings. And it's not because they said something good about
Yeah.
us and I'm saying that in return.
Yeah.
But they're phenomenal, phenomenal humans.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Vikas. It
Vikas, and-
feels great, and it made my day.
No, I think we paid him to say that. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you so much for being so kind with your words. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually made this segment short because, as we promised, from in the coming days, inshallah, Vikas is going to have a separate small segment for all the things that he does. This is WABS, DIY. We're looking, ladies and gentlemen. Also follow on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, not
Yeah.
follow. All right, so anything you want to say to everyone out there, here's your camera, go ahead.
That's what I
Also very
used
quickly
to.
because Usman's shouting.
That's what I always tell everyone, be resourceful, look for things, reduce your waste, and try to create something beautiful out
All
of it.
right, thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much. With that,
much.
ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you write on our Facebook page, which is with the name of.
Well, this morning,
Somewhere here.
Twitter, Daily Motion, YouTube, everything well this morning. And the repeat you can catch at 5:11 p.m. tonight.
Till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
feet? I will eat